So I was at the gas station. I pulled up, and there was this dude who was like, hanging off of a trash can. Like, I don't know what he was doing. He was like hanging off of the trash can, and obviously he was like twacked the fuck out. And I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was saying, but he was the only person out there in the middle of the parking lot, like in the middle of the gas pumps or whatever. And then there were two guys who worked there at the gas station. They were like up by the front of the store, and they're like kind of talking shit to the guy, calling him crazy, telling him to leave or whatever. I asked him, I'm like, hey, are you good? He was like, nope. And I'm like, okay. So I went in, I paid for my gas, came back out, and I'm like, are you okay? Like, what's up? He was like, no, I'm not okay. I said, do you need something? He's like, food. I need food. The guy had came over who worked there, had started walking towards him. He's like talking shit about the police were coming. I was like, dude, have you ever thought to ask him what he wants, what he's doing? He's like, what? I was like, he's hungry. We were calling the police. He's just hungry. And he's like, he's hungry? I'm like, yeah, he wants food. He's literally eating out of the trash can. The guy was all the way out of his mind. Just the way he looked, the way he was carrying himself, he was definitely twacked. But it really made me feel for him. Because what comes to my mind, when I run into people or situations like this is not, what a tweaker he is or what, he's on something. No, what comes to my mind is like, that's somebody's son. That's somebody's brother, somebody's uncle, somebody's dad. And it's heartbreaking. He's sick. The last thing that he needs is for someone to call the police and get him in more trouble. It's like, do you ever wonder what brought people to where they're at in life? Like, what did he go through? And he was a young dude, younger than me. He was probably in his mid-20s. What did he go through in his life that brought him to this point? That made him give up on life the way that he has? That caused him to lose hope in himself, in the world. People are on drugs for a reason, and you never know what the reason is. Whether, the doctors put them there, and that's a very common thing, where doctors will feed you narcotics like water, and the next thing you know, you're hooked on them and cut off. Whether he decided to venture off and try some things and experiment, no matter what the case is, there's always a deeper reason and a deeper source of these issues. There's always deeper rooted issues of the issues. And to see somebody like that, knowing that this man, if he was in his right mind, and if he was sober, if he was clean, and he were to see himself like this, how would he feel? Seeing the way he looks, seeing what he's doing, seeing his behavior, how do you think he would feel? Ashamed, embarrassed, humiliated. And people are just looking at him with such disgust. It's like the world is trained to see addicts and homeless people as a nuisance. Trained to see people on the street like trash, like not like people, like a waste, like an eyesore, in the way, disgusting, ill, nasty, gross, stay away, We're taught that from there, this is what an addict is, and this is what an addict looks like, and this is what happens to you when you're an addict. It's bullshit. It's all psychological bullshit. Okay, there are so many crackhead tweakers that are doctors and lawyers that you pay your money to, that you trust every day. You just would never know because they don't carry themselves in an expected way. You never know if someone got bad drugs. You never know if someone was tricked. You never know if someone was drugged. You never know what puts people in the situations that they're in. And what led them to those situations, I mean the situations of the situations. What they were going through, what they dealt with. How they feel. How the trauma has affected their life. What they have had or not have or been through in their life that has led them to this point of being so hopeless and broken that they've given up on themselves, that the world around them and the people that are supposed to love and support and care for them, that they've given up on them. What if that was, your brother, your child? Would you have been disgusted? It's just heartbreaking, and I beg, I plead you, change your perspective. When you encounter these situations, allow yourself to lead from a place of genuine compassion and love, of understanding. Think of everything you've gone through in your life. Not everyone is strong enough to deal with certain situations maybe the way you have. Or maybe you yourself have been to a point in your life where you were so hopeless and broken that you could have ended up there. That if you didn't have somebody who cared, or if you didn't have a support system or the right doors to open, that you would have been in a similar situation. Maybe you have been. We are all deserving of love. We are all entitled to be cared about. These are rights given to us by our God, our Creator. The last thing that dude needs is legal problems. The last thing that guy needs is people judging him. Whether he's an addict and he wants to do drugs or not. See past that. Try to see past that. Understand that everyone's life hasn't been great. People have been through mind-blowing trauma, heartache, terrible situations, loss. And yes, I understand that we should all be able to pick ourselves up and keep on keeping on. But it's not that simple. It's not always that easy. People on the street, they need love so that they can heal and be productive again. They deserve to be themselves again. And it's only prolonging the situation and dragging them through the mud even more when we look at them like they are just disgusting or in the way. Help heal somebody today. Look at them, the core of them. Look past their situation. Understand they are not their situation, their circumstances. There's plenty of times in life where you probably weren't the best version of yourself. Where you were pretty embarrassed looking back, like, damn, I wonder who saw me doing that, We all deserve to be seen. We all deserve to be seen. Find a little compassion. It could be you. It could be your son. It could be your brother, your uncle, your dad. How would you treat them if it was? Love heals and it saves. Together we can save the world. Through love alone. It's the only way.